Hello, everyone. Welcome to the very first session of HubSpot AI for Beginners. I am Casey, and this is Trisha, and we're so excited to have you here. If you've been feeling like AI is evolving faster than you can keep up, especially inside of HubSpot, you are 100% not alone. We created this series because honestly, we felt the exact same way. Each session, we're going to be exploring what's new in AI in HubSpot, talk through real use cases, test things live, and share small wins you can actually use. Today's session is all about where it begins. And even if you've never used AI in HubSpot before, we are happy to have you here. So let's dive in. Trisha, how are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you, Casey?
I am doing well. I'm excited. We were talking in the pre-show, and one of the things I'm most excited about for this series is that um, there's been a lot of changes in HubSpot's AI. I feel like it's getting more and more confusing inside of HubSpot. I had a call with a friend yesterday, and I was explaining to him some of the new stuff, the AI stuff in HubSpot, and he was like, "So is HubSpot trying to replace you? Like, are you like, are you a HubSpot consultant like getting replaced by AI?" Um, and I think it's easy and quick to feel that way right now, like where we are in time right now. Um, I always look at it as like things are evolving. Um, Jobs are changing. I mean, it's the same when you look at like the US and like mining and oil and stuff in the US. Like, yes, there are fewer of those jobs, but now we have these like tech jobs and like people like me that sit in front of a computer all day. Like, um, so what I told my friend was that I think my job is going to change in the next year, where right now I am doing a lot of like the building, and maybe instead of that, I'm doing the prompting.
hmm Maybe. I mean, take a webinar, for example.
Mhm,
To to launch a webinar, you need images. You need usually like some sort of streaming platform and like
mhm,
a registration system for that.
mhm,
You need your list of people that you're going to send it to, that you're going to invite. You need a web page and a place
mhm,
for people to register. You need an email or and social stuff to promote the fact that you're having an event. That registration system has to keep track of whether or not somebody is registered. It has to acknowledge that they registered, and then it also needs to tell you after the fact whether or not they attended. And so anyway, there's just a lot of little pieces, and setting that up is, to me, it's annoying. I don't love setting up a webinar. It's
It's a lot of
boring,
steps, I agree.
especially if you've done it, a dozen times already. It's like, oh, I got to do
Mhm,
this again. And there's a lot of steps, and they all have to work together. And if one thing isn't right, the registration, something's not going to work. Um, if so, like if they had a way to automate all those steps and have it perfect every time, sign me up. Because then I have more time to do, like, there's plenty of work to do in HubSpot every day, right? And
mhm.
me, I'm only ever going after the low hanging fruit, seems like, because of time
High
constraints.
up fruit is
There's a time constraint. So
yeah.
if and like and I've written webinar building processes before because you do the same thing every time.
Mhm, mhm.
So if you could train HubSpot to do that, train HubSpot to do that. I think that's fantastic idea.
Yeah. I I think that's true. I think there are yeah, I mean, you're so right. Like we are all constricted on time all the time, all the time. So that is preventing us. It's funny, I say this a lot to clients and, people might be upset about this, but one of the common things I look at in audits is duplicate properties, and, like, ugh, it's so often that there's duplicate properties. And on my audits, a lot of times when I'm telling people, like, "Hey, you need to clean up your duplicate properties," I'll say to them, I'll be like, "To be honest, this is nice to have." Like, it's such a time like, consolidating 2 properties takes so much time, especially if they're not, like it's not that bad if they're both, like, single line text fields, but if they're one of them is a drop down field, it's oof.
Yes.
Oof. This
I just I just
number
literally
of
ran
time
into that too. I'm replicating a quiz that it was a step form
Mhm,
quiz that was on TypePad, moving it to HubSpot. All of the fields, because it was integrated with TypePad, there's all these radio fields that were set up as text fields. Because on TypePad, it didn't like on HubSpot, it didn't
mhm,
matter because TypePad was just sending the information back to HubSpot. So they're all sent as text fields,
mhm,
which means that setting it up as a step form, people had the ability, since they were text fields, to select yes and no for like a dozen questions.
mhm,
And I talked to the client and said, so I have to create a duplicate set of properties to do this.
mhm,
And should we merge all of the old data from all the other properties into yes or no?
mhm,
And I told them no, because I mean, in this use case, they're not using that data really for any kind of decision making. It's it's what happens as a result of people taking that quiz. That score is what they use. But I just created a dozen duplicate properties on purpose.
But when people say, like, "Are you afraid that your job's gonna be taken by AI?" And, clip this video, and I'll look like a fool in a year. Like, it's fine, fine, um, whatever. But but right now on June 12th, 2025, I'm not because I think it'll make my job I think it'll make my job better. I think AI is gonna do some of that stupid stuff, like turning your state fields into drop downs that truly takes hours. And the webinar process that, like, I do sometimes do this and I'm just like, "Oh, it's not hard, but I just don't wanna do it."
I don't.
But that's what I see out of AI,
I
in the
think it's going to be a
future.
helper
Yeah.
eventually. I mean, it's not all there yet, but it already helps a lot in certain
Mhm.
ways, and it's getting better every day. And I think it's going to continue to be a great helper.
Can you so th thank you. Thank you for
Segueing.
segueing me. Um, so let's talk a little bit about how we've used AI so far in our careers and especially, in and out of HubSpot or with HubSpot maybe.
With HubSpot. Uh, Primarily for myself. I should look at my search history.
Bless Corinne. ChatGPT told me it was Wednesday, July 12th today, so yeah, I'm not worried.
Bless you. Bless your heart. Um, okay, so I primarily use it for content.
Mhm,
And primarily for like a launch pad. I don't know, like in school, whenever I had to do a paper or something, that first
mhm,
paragraph was always the worst part for me. It was so hard for
mhm,
me to get flowing.
mhm,
And for me at least, it helps me get into that engaged flow state a lot more quickly. So a lot
mhm,
of content, but also, and this is kind of outside of HubSpot, but a lot of formulas and stuff. Uh,
mhm,
Excel, Salesforce, like things that have just always been an opposite. Like I get to a point and like, I don't know. My gosh, it has been,
mhm.
I love it.
Yeah, I say so. I usually tell people I started using AI in 2021 or 2022, I forget. And I just looked it up. I used to use a site called WordTune, or a tool called WordTune, which apparently still exists. And I was using it for content creation. I would write, at the time, I think I was writing ads, and I would write an ad, and then I would have WordTune rewrite it. Um, and one thing about me, I'm a terrible speller, always have been. Um, just never been my thing. I'm also pretty terrible at like rereading things that I write. I am very much just like a send it um, type person. And I remember this being an obstacle very early in my marketing career. Luckily, my boss at the time was one of my good friends, but she used to be like, Casey, please, for the love of God, just reread your ads before you send them to me. Like, and part of it, I know this is true. I get like really blind to it all
Mhm.
too, especially, and especially when I was writing, 20 headlines myself, I would just get to a point where I'd be like, oh, just make it end. Just like,
Talk about a great use for AI, the 20 like ad headlines and
Mhm.
like all of the Google ads. Oh God. Oh God.
But I just made a post yesterday because content creation is my main use of AI right now. And I'll have a content idea and I will word vomit it out into ChatGPT.
Mhm.
I don't care about spelling. I don't care about grammar. ChatGPT doesn't care. I don't know how to spell definitely. And just, it doesn't care. And then it will send it back
Mhm.
with correct with correct spelling. I've actually joked, and maybe I should try this one day. I've been wanting to know if ChatGPT knows how bad of a speller I am. Like,
Like
it
grade
doesn't
me.
know. Yeah,
Grade
like
me. How good a speller am I?
it's gotta flunk me. But it's amazing to me. I mean, growing up, my mom made me practice spelling so often, and um, it was such a
Are you dyslexic?
not diagnosed. If you
Just very common to be a horrible speller if you're dyslexic.
not diagnosed, um, but and now it doesn't matter, and it's just crazy that like how lucky am I to live at a time where spelling doesn't matter.
Yeah, I would say so. I know I have a number of dyslexics in my family. One of them in particular owns their own business, like is always talking to people over text and like used to, because AI wasn't available, would take their text, copy it into like a Word doc. I don't even know how they were doing this. Like, was it on their phone? I'm not sure. Have spell correct it, and then like transfer it back over to their phone.
Mhm.
Everyone that was like sent to a business person. Everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And here's the thing: if you're a bad speller, you know this, but like sometimes Word and stuff, they don't know what you're saying. Like if you,
I'm
I don't know
laughing
why. I
because
mean,
my like 80-year-old aunties were, I saw them for a 100th birthday party a couple of weeks ago, and one of them was talking about how AI was like changing their texts. And so it was, she got a text from my mother that was signed off love you, F you, but spelled out, which is like not anything my mother would ever say, ever, ever. So, it's got quirks.
got quirks. Um, I will say, just to tie this a little back to HubSpot, so a little more closely, one area of HubSpot's AI that I'm not fully utilizing or utilizing enough is HubSpot's internal AI tools. So Copilot, Breeze Copilot is HubSpot's AI tool. You'll hear it called Breeze. You'll hear it called Copilot. If you see this little gem anywhere, you know in HubSpot, that means there is an AI experience happening to you. But historically, I've been disappointed with HubSpot's Copilot. And because of that, I will do something I use ChatGPT, but insert AI of choice. And then I'll come back to HubSpot and paste that into my email or my note or like whatever I'm doing, which does disrupt the process for sure.
Yeah. Same experience. So an example from today is I had some email copy, and I said, take this copy below. It was all text. And I said, the second paragraph has a bunch of like, I don't know, it's basically a list of things that you could use or you could improve or something, but like say this in bullet format instead. Make this easier to read by using bullets. And instead of taking my text and inserting and reformatting it, it gave me a kind of a summary of why using bullets is effective, and it bulleted it bulleted its own speech. But I have used it at times for different, like if I get stuck in a workflow, I've been using it more and more.
Yeah.
And it's been better for me when it's more technical HubSpot questions than for email or like text. Hasn't been the greatest for text so far.
Some things to like consider off the bat. Two major things. One, AI is the worst it will ever be right now. AI is always learning, and that's kind of the weird thing about using an AI tool. Like I've been using ChatGPT for years now. I'm kind of committed to it because it already knows me. Like my chat, it's almost like a social media feed. Like my ChatGPT is different because it knows me at this point. I mentioned to a friend in passing recently, I was like, you know, when ChatGPT will just like send you a little joke at the end. And they were like, I literally have no idea what you're talking about. That's never happened to me. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense that I would have a ChatGPT that like just adds a little joke when they send things back to me. So that's part of it too. And so all of that really to say, like, by not using Breeze's Copilot, it's perpetuating what's happening. And it's a pretty common thing where someone will use AI for the first time. They won't get immediately what they're looking for, and they'll say, this sucks, I'm out of here. When really you need to keep using it to get the most value out of it. The other areas I've seen AI used, I like the idea of these Breeze record summaries. I haven't been.
I love the idea of this. I want this to be fantastic. I want a BDR to be able to come to a new lead record and have that contact summary say, this is the third person from this company that's come to the website in the last week. It's really heating up. This is what the other people have done. This is who the other people are doing. Like, that's what I'm hoping to get from it at some point. When it is, it's going to be, like, that's going to be fantastic.
But worth noting, bad data in, bad data out. So, and with AI, context is king. Like, and I notice this all the time. Like, the more context you give AI, the better. And so, if you're not adding data to HubSpot, if your reps are doing all of their meetings off of HubSpot, if They're not logging their emails to HubSpot. It's just never going to have the context to give you what you're looking for. It's actually funny. I see this summary here, and I just this week turned on the integration to sync my meetings into my CRM. And so I can see that like it's talking about a meeting that I had.
I see what's going on there.
Which is just followed up on an invoice. It's funny to see some of this stuff in here. Another area that we're seeing some of these summaries, you'll see AI summaries on workflows. I've said this publicly before. Those have been a little disappointing to me in the past. However, they just released an update this week or last week, in the past couple of days, on HubSpot will now have the ability to backfill workflow descriptions. Previously, you had to go in and like update workflow. You had to tell it to fill in your workflow descriptions. However, they noticed that like almost all of the workflow descriptions were getting accepted. I actually think that's a problem because they haven't always been great and they haven't always been really contextual. However, I think from personal experience, if everyone's like me, they see a description in there and they're like, whatever, I wasn't going to write anything. So sure, let's roll with that. So I think that's why people are accepting them. However, if you were actually editing them, that's teaching HubSpot what all these little pieces mean together. So I would encourage you, if you want to get the most out of HubSpot, if you want to get the most out of HubSpot's AI tools, you're needing to add context. And if you're only blind accepting everything that they send you, you're not adding context. You're not, period. The other thing worth noting here is that this summer, I just said this to a friend today. I was like, whatever this summer means to you. But HubSpot is launching a more powerful Breeze Copilot. There's going to be, the latest AI tech. So it's supposed to be getting better. So if you've used Copilot before and you have not been impressed with it, keep an eye on this update and keep an eye on this series, and we will be testing this out as it comes and seeing how it gets better. Web search is one of the areas here, and even HubSpot's how-to and help questions, things like that. So keep an eye there.
Okay. I think we were going to rapid fire like all the things that we think we could talk about in this series. But one of the things that I know isn't in there that I just discovered today, I wanted to highlight as an example. So the prompt I gave Breeze was, how can I personalize this email without being creepy?
Nailed it. An amazing prompt. No notes.
And it did give me some good ideas. Like some of the things I'm a little unclear on exactly how we'd use them, but then like a further iteration of that prompt, it actually inserted the fields right into my text for me. So then I could just copy it straight from the Copilot screen into the email without having to then pick through the personalization menu. So
that's very nice. And ChatGPT would have a hard time doing that. I don't know.
That wouldn't work. That wouldn't work.
Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't know it could do that, but that's definitely, I mean, when we talk about like reasons to use AI in HubSpot rather than in ChatGPT, that's definitely a reason. But yeah, let's just rapid fire some of the ones some of the uses of AI in HubSpot. AI lead scoring is a new one. It'll predict your lead scoring, available in professional and enterprise plans. Also deal scoring, so just AI scoring. Maybe we'll just leave it at that. List creation also, we looked at that a couple weeks, maybe months ago. But there's some new tools that are going to create AI lookalike lists in HubSpot. Content Hub has a ton of AI in it. It looks really cool. Again, this is going to be where context is going to be really important. So the more you're giving AI, HubSpot's AI Content Hub, the better. But you can use Content Remix, is what they call it. So you provide Content Hub, HubSpot, with a resource, a series of resources, and they can create blogs, landing pages, emails, social posts, case studies, social media posts. Did I say that? I feel like I'm repeating myself now. But it will mix the content into all the different avenues that you're looking for.
I still haven't done it, but I'm very interested in taking a transcript and turning that into a case study and see how good a job does it do.
I think, yeah, we could do a ton there. Marketing email optimization. So it will suggest your subject lines for you. A/B tests are coming both on landing pages and on emails, I believe. So it'll suggest your A/B tests. The landing page one is cool. It'll even start running A/B tests for you. If you go back to when that first came out, you will see I was unsure on it, but I am here to say that it's cool. I just need,
You needed some time.
I needed some time, and I would still like for it to prove itself, There's also a ton of AI-powered reporting and forecasting, and then just last week, HubSpot announced an integration directly in ChatGPT, which will now integrate your data, so you can go into ChatGPT and say, "Hello, ChatGPT, why are leads up or down this month?" And it will deep research from there. Looks very cool. There are a lot of people who have a lot of questions on the data security and things. I have not integrated any of my clients on it because I don't know the answers. And so be cautious there, but the potential is big.
Yeah, and literally anybody can integrate it. It is
Mhm.
you don't have to be a developer to integrate HubSpot with ChatGPT. I also thought it was funny that some people were positing that is the reason ChatGPT has been down this week and been having outages, and it wouldn't surprise me.
As someone that relies on ChatGPT, it's been rough out here.
What is going on this week?
I've been using Claude a lot more this week, which Chris is very big on Claude. So he will be happy to hear this. He's not listening to this. He knows way more about AI stuff. He's gotten bored by now. There's also conversational intelligence in Sales Hub and Pro and Enterprise. If you're recording calls and syncing those with HubSpot, AI can highlight key moments and search the transcripts for themes. And it will actually train your reps using AI to flag common objections and things like that. Which is
I don't know if HubSpot's meeting tool does this. If it doesn't, I'm sure it's coming, but another meeting tool, for example.
Mhm.
I love the AI that's running on video.
Mhm.
Like number one, to kind of like pull those key moments out, because trying to
Mhm.
sift through its transcript that's rough, very
Mhm.
time consuming. But it also give you insights into sort of like how many minutes did you talk versus how many
Mhm.
minutes did the prospect talk?
Mhm.
Oh, if you're not looking at that, that's it's very insightful to be
It
really
is.
repetitive, but those insights are very insightful.
It is. It is really. Um, yeah, those AI call transcripts are very impressive. It's coming a long way. I don't remember off the top of my head where they are. I'm sure that's coming if it doesn't already exist.
Mhm.
Sales email automation. This is what a hot one that I've been talking a lot about with my clients, which is HubSpot's prospecting agent, which can be semi-autonomous or autonomous, and it will write emails to your target ICP list. You feed it a list of contacts that you want to follow up with, and it will personalize the emails. And it can even automatically send them. It will also, depending on your tier and how many credits and blah, 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 all these other things. But there's the option to have it like research the company prior to sending the email even and things like that. So a lot of really cool stuff happening there. Um, I have mixed feelings on it, if I'm being honest. The idea of your like cold emailing, not a fan of it. um, and I think people are feeling like their inboxes are having an increased flood of cold emails because of AI, and it's making things feel less authentic. Um, and I know one thing I've talked to a lot of people about is like, should your first touch with with a person be AI?
Ooh,
Is
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And not
Um,
only in your email too, like LinkedIn has been really pushing their conversational products.
mhm,
So, um, I know with them trying very hard to sell those in the market, you've got more people buying those, and I know that my
mhm.
LinkedIn inbox is flooded with sponsored messages.
Bleh.
Bleh.
So just, I mean, with everything, with AI, use caution.
Mhm.
AI social media scheduling will suggest optimal posting times and even auto generate social captions based on your content, especially if you have Content Hub and are using that remix tool, then they really work well together. Um, so very cool. There are AI-powered chatbots. If you have reached out to HubSpot support in the last few months, um, you have reached out to an AI chatbot. I have publicly had some mixed feelings on this very recently. Um, Again, should your first interaction be with a chatbot? It should be with AI. All I love the idea of getting the answers you're looking for faster. No complaints there from me. But when they're giving you bad information, that's
Mhm.
definitely when it's just delaying me from getting. I like I like the AI chatbot when it's getting me information more quickly. I don't like it when it's delaying the information,
Yeah.
delaying the whole process. So smart content personalization. Yeah, I think sorry, I'm looking at our list. I think that's just a feature, but you could use AI with that feature for sure, um, inside of HubSpot. Um, boop-de-doo. There are, AI, tools within the SEO tool now to suggest content clusters, so if you're using the SEO tool in HubSpot there. Feedback analysis, if you're using the survey tools, AI will analyze those survey results for trends.
That
Um,
could be a huge time saver too, because that benchmark study that we did last year,
mhm, mhm,
holy cow, the amount of effort to sift through all the data and try to like, if you're looking across I mean, it's one thing if it's like a 4-question survey, but if it's
mhm,
broader and you've got a lot of people answering a lot of different ways and then trying to segment that data and really pull out like what does this mean? That could be really powerful.
Yeah. The AI workflow actions have made a big splash on LinkedIn. I have personally found them to be a little more difficult from a user perspective to set up and unreliable. I definitely think that would be worth checking out again. And I know, like I keep saying, AI is the worst it will ever be right now. So it just keeps getting
I haven't
better.
had any wins on that so far. I do try it now and again. We're not there yet. For me, for what I'm trying to do. Or maybe I'm not good enough at telling it how to do what I want to do. I was pretty clear though. It just, yeah.
The knowledge base, if you're using Service Hub in HubSpot, you can use AI-powered knowledge base suggestions. It will help you create knowledge base articles, including the titles, intros, and articles themselves, and even base this on support tickets and train your knowledge base to be more. You can use your knowledge base to train your AI customer support bot too. So it all works together. But this is really when content, like if you have to feed it content, it doesn't know. If you ask any any AI tool to write a knowledge base article on your tool without giving it any information, like it just won't be able to.
Well, it's like the prospecting agent. Like there's a whole screen full of questions and information that you need to provide before you can really effectively start to use it.
Yeah. There also are, for reports, starting to add in insights, AI-powered insights from reports to give you ideas of what trends. And, sometimes reports can be overwhelming to look at, and you're kind of like, what does this say? So the AI tools are being integrated there as well. Just last week, we talked about the web builder. So that is using AI to build websites based on your brand and everything like that. So check that out as well. And then there are a ton of API uses now. So you can integrate HubSpot, we talked about, with ChatGPT. There's a ton of combinations of the way that this works. The latest is that you can integrate your data into ChatGPT, and then you can, in ChatGPT, ask HubSpot about your data using the deep research. However, there's also integrations to like send ChatGPT a question, like basically write an email for this person and then have ChatGPT send that back. So things like that are also available. There's like 3 or 4 different integrations, and each time they announce a new one, I have to ask Chris and George, like, I don't understand how this is different than what we have. So if you're feeling that way too, stay with us. We're with you. We're learning right alongside of you, and we're excited to dive into some of these tools in more detail with you.
Yeah, but thanks for coming along for the journey, because we all need to be on this journey. And sometimes hanging out with the Chris's of the world, this is the place where we can talk about it. This is a friendly space where if you can't understand the way I explain it, nobody can get it. Like this is the place for everybody. Everyman. This is the everyman space.
I sometimes tell Chris and George I'm the voice of the people. So I hope that you come along and join us. That's it for our first session of HubSpot AI for Beginners. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're feeling like, okay, I can do this, then mission accomplished. This series is all about making AI feel approachable, no jargon, no pressure. Got questions or want us to cover something specific next time, drop a comment or DM us. We'd love to hear what you're curious about. And if you're using any of HubSpot's AI tools and discovering cool or cringy things, send those our way too. Follow us here so you don't miss our next session, and we will see you next time.
And also follow Casey on Fridays for, what's the name of that series? Ask
the unofficial HubSpot call-in show.
There you go. Join Casey for that.
We're having some branding issues. But for now, let's go with HubSpot call-in show and ask us about AI, and I will say, over to George.
Nice.
Thank you, guys.